Hello people of YouTube. Right, I am finally feeling a little bit better in myself after this illness thing that's been going on around 3 weeks. God knows what it was. So I've got a couple of hours during the day while I'm waiting for deliveries with work, so I'm going to crack on and get as much as I can done. First things first, disconnect the brakes. Wherever the brake line is in there. Down there, and bleed all the fluid out without getting fluid all over my nice new floor, which I know already isn't going to happen because I am just about the messiest man alive when it comes to doing things like that. So let's make a start. So that's the brake lines disconnected, both sides, and I've cut under the front of the car as well. Basically I've traced the brake lines from the rear to the front of the car, give them a wiggle while someone's watching them, and figured out which ones go into the ABS module. I am assuming I can undo this one and the whole fitting, I'm hoping will go straight in there. I'm not going to be using the ABS, it'll be completely deactivated. So I assume this one I can just blank off and it'll just flow from the one at the back there. Might have to get some fittings and tee them in. This is difficult to do one-handed. Does that wind in? Yep. So yeah, if you know in the comments if that's going to cause me any sort of issues, just blanking that one off. They both went to the rear. Obviously the other side will be redundant. I've seen other people do this and they tee both lines in together. Like I say, I haven't put a hydraulic handbrake in a standard car for years. I don't actually know if I've ever put a hydraulic handbrake in a car leaving the ABS module in place. Well, normally it comes straight off the front, the two outputs on the master, and do away with all this. But as this is a sort of straightforward, simple entry-level car, I'd rather keep it simple if I can. So yeah, if you know if this one is going to cause me any problems blanking it off, please let me know in the comments. Like I say, I'm disabling the ABS completely, so it's sort of redundant. This line bolts straight into there, so that's nice and tidy. With the rears, what I've decided to do is, as I've got a braided line all the way to the back, I've removed the flexies, so I'm just going to put a T-piece on this braided line and then use one of these sort of standard holes if it goes through into the underside of the car. Let's have a go at this one first because it's the biggest one. Always a fan of using the standard factory hole if possible. Yep, and that goes to the underside of the car, so I can drill a big hole in the bung, tee off this, braided lines directly through there, straight to the straight to the calipers, and that should give a nice sort of stiff, solid handbrake feel. I may as well do the front flexes in braid as well. So next thing, I have already measured these, but for continuity on the video I will do it again. So just a cheap verner. Again, this is very difficult to do one-handed. Give me 1 second. That's 10 mil. I really need my glasses for this. I'm just using a cheap thread pitch gauge. If I'll focus. 1mm. So 10mm, 1mm thread pitch. Now, I won't film this, but I'll just get a couple of pieces of string and go from sort of the end in a reasonable position to the calipers to work out the length. So taking the brake lines off the front of the car as well, just to give them a measure. It's generally the same front to rear, but best to check before ordering things. So again, that is a 10mm 1.0 thread pitch male, and there'll be a 10mm 1.0 thread pitch female on that end. I'm going to order the lines 100mm extra length just to allow for the extensions I'm putting in the lower arms. I'll give a little bit more length. They're normally, as long as you don't go too wide with the lower arms, the standard brake pipes normally do the job, but as I'm ordering them anyway, I may as well order them a little bit longer. So that is the list. The top lines are all male. I need a 12mm 1.0T, 2 lines to both sides of the rear of the car, from the T direct to the calipers, and then the fronts, just a pair of them, 500mm long, and a blank. Like I said, I'm not sure if the blank is going to work, but happy to experiment and figure out whether that is the move or not, because it'll be a lot tidier. Like I said, the line goes straight there, the blank in the front. Hopefully that won't restrict the flow to the line that goes to the rear of the car. If it does, I'll just have to put a T in there and sort of mess around with that. But like I said, happy to experiment. So that's the next thing. Go on the Hell website and get everything ordered up. Performance custom line tool. I thought I'd just do a quick part of the video on this because it's a really good tool. I've ordered fuel lines, brake lines, basically anything that contains fluid you can order as a custom line. It's a really good thing to be able to do, to be honest. So I've got my list in front of me. You basically select the ends you want and the length. So first one is a swivel male. It'll be an extended swivel male because it's the BMW fitment. Select fitting size, M10 1.0. Select angle, it's a straight fitting. And then the other side will be a 90-degree fitting. So it'll be a swivel male. It was M10 1.0 and then a 90-degree angle. That'll come out of the T-piece. You can select heat shrink if you want. I'm not going to worry about that. I'll just go for transparent. You can add grommets, circlip mounts, P-clips, all sorts in the line if you need to. And then you just select the length. The first one will be 110 centimeters, car caliper, add the basket. So all the same again, so everything has stayed there, which is useful because I don't have to enter everything again, and this one's 170, and I'll just add that to the basket again. I'll continue shopping because I might as well add the fronts. The front ones are male to female, so the first fitting, extended male fitting, we can leave as is because that goes into the caliper and that's the same size. The other end will be a female, swivel circlip female, and that was an M10 1.0 I believe, yes. Straight fitting, same colour, no clips or anything required, and these were 500 millimeters, so 50 centimeters. And I want 2 of those. Add to basket. I believe there is also an option for fittings and things because I need a T to split off the rear. So where will that be? T-piece adapters. Three. That's not what I need, that's not what I need. Okay, well they don't appear to have that. I need a 12mm 1.0 thread pitch T, so I'll have to buy that from somewhere else. But that was just a quick demonstration of how you order lines on here, because like I said, I found it very, very helpful. I didn't realise the tool was on the website until fairly recently. I used it for my last build and it's just so much better being able to, especially with fuel lines. I mean, I know you can make your own fuel lines, but there's nothing like having them made by a professional company. It's just peace of mind. So yep, thought I'd just add that section in. The next thing on the list, figure out where this horrendous knocking was coming from when I was turning the steering wheel in a previous video. I've got my assistant here to give the steering wheel a little wheel.
Oh, thanks.
Let's see if we can figure out where it's coming from. Can you give it just a little wiggle left and right? It's not the end. Same from all the other side. Sort of fast the small wiggles. Yes, this inner. Yep. Let's see if the other side has done the same. Yeah, I feel it there too. So that's both the track rod arms rather than the ends. So I'll order a pair of them and that'll be that problem resolved. So that's a simple fix. So I'm under the car again because I want to remove the clutch delay valve. So I believe the delay valve is this section here. So I literally unbolt it from that line and then bolt this line back up, removing that center section, and that should release the delay valve. Obviously I've got to bleed the clutch up afterwards, but that's not too much of a problem. So let's see if that is the correct part. and if we can just simply remove it and rebolt in the same position. So that's the delay valve out. Really quite impressed with how simple that was. I wanted to get everything done with the brake lines and clutch lines today, so I know what to order. Didn't know whether the job was more involved and I needed to order more parts, lines or fittings or anything, but as it happens, it's literally, see how small the hole is in there, if I can get it lined up. So that just restricts the flow of the fluid so the clutch doesn't engage too quickly. With drifting, if you're creating constant clutch slip with this little component, that can create clutch problems, you know, overheating, not great for drifting. So best to remove it. That's now done. I can order the bits up from hell, and that'll do for today's video. I didn't have a lot of time today because we're just waiting for some bits to arrive for work, but I thought I'd make the most of the time and get a little bit more done. I'm kind of desperate to get this car out now. There's a drift day coming up in about a week and a half, and I'm going to try and aim for that, so we'll see if that happens. You know the score with this: like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.